Dr. Lisa Suarez. Now that the meeting is recorded, hi, my name is Dr. Lisa Suarez. I am a postdoc in the program of public health that's at the School of Medicine at Stony Brook University. I'm also part of the IRACTA Scholars Group with the CIE. Um, and I put my email on this title slide so that you have it, and feel free to email me at any time with any questions. We can meet in a different Zoom if you want to talk about any of these software or like other things that can help you in your writing process. Um, and yeah, so welcome to the Using Software to Manage Your Academic Writing. This really came about after a writing retreat that happened during the summer. One of the workshops I didn't get to do was this one, and it was to talk about citation management software. And then I learned that there's a lot more tools available online and through the libraries that I want to highlight today because I really think that they can help you in your writing process. Very briefly, just to get to know who's in the room, I feel like it's a lot of graduate students, so I don't want to ask you what year you're in or anything like that. Thank you for coming. But I do want to ask you how do you feel about the writing process? And I give you a couple of options to think about. But for those folks on Zoom, if you could use the chat box to type in whether you're feeling more A, more B, or more C. And those who are in the room, if you could like letter show with your hand A, B, or C, or shout it out if your microphone is on. Um, that way we can get to know where everyone stands. And you can be a combination of these three. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Adebayo is like definitely B.
Yeah.
B is strongly resounding. So it is very overwhelming. And part of the thing that I want to show you are things to make it a little bit more manageable.
Yes.
Yeah. These slides are available to you. You can copy the tiny URL link, or if you have your phone and you want to see the slides on your cellular device, you can go to this QR code as well. I'm using Google Slides. And I think Diana will share this with you after the workshop is done. The goals are really simple. One thing I want to do is a little bit of community building where in a Zoom hybrid room with a lot of people, and that means a lot of skills and a lot of experience, possibly with the tools that I'm going to talk about or other tools that you find useful. And I really want to encourage you all to reach out for peer support. So meet the folks who you see in the CIE and reach out to them um, to learn new tools and develop your skills. The other goal is to increase the awareness of some useful schools that are available to you as graduate students at Stony Brook and to foster skill development in the literature search, citation reference, and writing process in general. These are some of the tools that I'll go over. I wanted to use Slido, but because my laptop is from the School of Medicine, I have a lot of restrictions of what software I'm allowed to download, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. So here is the slide that I wanted to work with. I don't know if other people were able um, to access these slides, but I will put it in the chat again, the Google Docs link. You should be able to edit this one. And what I want you to engage with me on this is to share some skills that you have that you could possibly teach others, or share a question that you have about your writing process that you would like someone to help you out with. I've gone ahead and started doing this with these text boxes. I suggest you do the same. You go to insert a text box, put it anywhere on this slide, highlight it a color you like, um, and I will stay here for about 5 minutes to to give you time to share with the group. And if you would like to use the chat function on Zoom, go ahead and do that instead, and I will write the text box for you. The slides are view only. Oh no.
I was just gonna say that. Like we can't.
Show the QR. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Can you try again and let me know if they're still view only?
Yeah, now it works.
Now it works. Thank you. Thanks, Carrie Ann. One of the questions that I saw in the RSVP is how to responsibly use AI in the writing process. And that's a really big conversation. There is a lot of advice out there. So I post this link to a library resource that talks about that a little bit more in depth. Um, in general, what you want to avoid is not using your own words, but that goes into the ethics of plagiarism, etc. Um, but yeah. And if you do have experience and you want to be contacted by your fellow peers, please put your email address next to your text box so that someone has a way to contact you. Can the person who has organized articles with a lot of authors share contact information, your email, so that I can ask you how you do that? Um, thank you. Because that's really hard as well. One of my struggles is version control. I struggle between giving people I work with a lot of editing power on a document versus the time it takes me to incorporate their edits if I give them a different file to work on. Okay. I think you can keep working on this part of the slide, but I will continue on with the slideshow. let me know if it stops you from editing the slide. And if anything, you can email me the rest of your contribution and I will add it before Diana and I share with you the final slides. The overview of this workshop is we're going to talk about the Stony Brook Libraries, and there's very exciting things available to you if you use the library's websites to do your literature search. We're going to talk about using Zotero or EndNote as a reference management software. They do the same thing, but there are two. At the School of Medicine, I am basically forced to use EndNote. I can't download Zotero onto my work computer, but I can install EndNote. EndNote is expensive, but the school offers the license for free. So as long as you download it from SoftWeb, you have access to it for free. There are two guides provided by the libraries for you that go over not only the installation process, but how to use these software in more detail than I can ever cover in this workshop. So I put those two guides here. Obsidian, I think, is a digital notebook. Essentially, if you have, like I have, a lot of papers on your desk and you would like to declutter, Obsidian is really nice because it's a digital version of those many papers on your desk. And this YouTube video talks you through how to use it and how to take notes very nicely. So I share that with you. And NotebookLM, I have used it as a reading assistant tool to do some of my literature review. So there are moments where I have a review article that is looking too dense for me to manage at the time with my headspace. So I'll put it into NotebookLM and ask NotebookLM essentially to give me a podcast review of the article. And what that is a audio recording that's generated by an AI of two people talking about the article as if they have like an interview process, and it's an easier way to digest the article at first hand, and then I go back to the actual PDF and read it. But at least it gets me over the hurdle of this is a lot.
So there's a question in the chat from
know.
Do you know how Obsidian compares to OneNote?
Sure. I'll show you both, and that might clarify things, but Obsidian is really not a citation management tool. And sorry, you said OneNote. I actually don't know what OneNote is.
OneNote is also like a digital notebook.
Okay.
So like you can create different notebooks and then you can have sections in the notebook. But it's connected to Microsoft. It's a Microsoft tool.
Okay. Does that mean Mac users won't be able to use it, or?
Everyone can use it because it's
Okay.
cloud-based.
Yeah.
So you can have access across devices. But
Okay.
I'm not familiar with Obsidian. That's why I'm very familiar with OneNote, but not with Obsidian. So that's why I asked, because I wasn't sure if it was like a similar tool or if there was something different about Obsidian.
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to put OneNote here as a second option for a digital notebook since you've mentioned it. There are a lot of things that probably do very similar work, and it depends on how deep you need to go into these kinds of software. But I'll show you how I've used it as examples, and then the rest is on you to learn. And I'm happy to try it out, but I don't know OneNote to answer that question. You probably get all the uses that I do in Obsidian in OneNote, is my feeling.
Oh, I'll look for a link that I can share.
Thank you. This is the last slide I have, and then I'm gonna share my actual work screen. But I just wanted to say, if anything, start with a Google search for these tools, and Google will help you find where to access them, where to download them, and most often than not, it will show you a guide online that will help you get started. So go to let's go to a Google search for Stony Brook Library, because that's where I want you basically to start. At the main library, where I like to go is research, and then there's this catalogs for search. And here's where you can search for just about anything. I am in the health sciences field, so more likely than not, I go to the health sciences library instead of the others or the main library. And my quick search here, I think I have already done it before, is for this paper on my research. And what's nice is that from that health sciences library website, it just takes me to PubMed where this article exists. And from PubMed, there is this cite button where I can directly copy the citation in the format that I choose here, but I can download the NBIB, which is a file that contains information of that reference. When I click to open that file, it actually opens my EndNote my EndNote application. And this is because I already have it downloaded. But here, I have the reference imported into my EndNote space. And I want to briefly go back to the PubMed website to show you that if I wanted a full link, I'm sorry, that was really fast. If I wanted the actual PDF of this article, I would go to check for full text at SBU. And what happens here is that there is no link to actually getting the PDF automatically, but with Stony Brook Libraries, I can use something that's called interlibrary loan and place a request for that PDF. You only need to sign in with your net ID. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I can request through interlibrary loan for the full PDF. Once I click that one link to request, it gives me this website that's already pre-populated with the article's information, and I would hit submit request here, and it takes them about a day or something like that. I'm not going to hit submit request because I already have done this before and I just want to show you the results. So here is that article. And I can go to view item and I get the PDF. The thing that's important to note here is these articles cost the university money to subscribe to, and there is a network of libraries that SBU works through to give you articles that we're not necessarily subscribed to, but you can still access them. So I recommend using interlibrary loan for that. So say I have, I'm gonna go here. say I already downloaded the EndNote the EndNote reference materials here, and I have my article PDF. What I like to do next is to download the PDF to a folder on my work computer that's called Library PDFs. It's very not creative, but this is essentially where I put in a title for that and go ahead and save. I'm not, because I already have it. But the reason I do this is because in EndNote, if I double click on the entry, I can add a PDF to it. And that really makes EndNote feel like a whole library for me. So that I have the PDF here, even I can edit this and upload it again. So we're going to save that. And then I want to show you how I use it in a Word document to actually do any of the writing. So this is a document that I've been working on for a while now. It already has some citations in it. And you can tell at the top of the Word document, I have an EndNote tab. If I am in EndNote and I am highlighting any of the, and I'm highlighting an entry, we can go to all references, but I'm highlighting like one. In the Word document, if I start a new sentence and I go to insert citation and insert selected citation, it pulls information from the one that I was highlighting back here. And I can also do multiple at a time, and you can be selective with which multiple. But if you insert selected citations, it will bring them all in. The nice part about this is that at the end, it gives you your reference, and you can always change the style of reference according to whatever journal you're submitting to. So that is all the EndNote, like how I use EndNote to fulfill my needs. As a citation manager, I basically use it as a whole library. Obsidian is quite interesting for me. What I do here is I have a list of projects, but I really do have very random notes. Sorry, I just had to check the check. There is this web that Obsidian will help you create because you can link your notes pages, but I haven't really done much use of that. What I use it for, in the most part, is to track the articles that I need to read and to write notes on the articles that I have read, like this. It's much nicer to have this digital than to have it on a piece of paper because I keep losing my pieces of paper. But this is a digital vault that I can take with me wherever my laptop goes. There are definitely other ways to visualize your writing in Obsidian that I have not explored, but I invite you to. And I've even used it to write my notes here. So I use this really as a notebook, and I hear good things about it. The last thing, so Lisa Ospitali is the one who introduced me to NotebookLM. And it's been really interesting to sort of read these different articles as a podcast, and that's my favorite use of it. Um, I wonder if you will be able to use if you'll be able to hear this. Can you hear a thing?
You'll need to like adjust your share to include your sound.
Did it do it or no?
No, if you like reshare, but then check the box that says computer audio, then we would hear it.
Oh, I see.
Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to the deep dive. We're here.
You're muted, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa, I think for us to hear it, you have to go unmute.
Hey there, curious minds. Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to plunge into the source material you shared and really pull out the most interesting bits. Today, we're looking at NotebookLM. It's this tool that honestly sounds like it could really shake things up in how we use our own information. Okay, let's try and unpack this a bit.
Am I still on mute?
We hear
Nope,
you
you're good.
now.
No, you can hear. I feel so distant. What I did and what I recommend you to do for your first use of NotebookLM is to upload this YouTube video, because this YouTube video essentially is a workshop by Stony Brook staff who talk about how to use NotebookLM. And it was a little bit meta, but it was very interesting to hear NotebookLM summarize talk about itself and present it to you. But this is a 10-minute talk that NotebookLM came up with, and that video originally was like 30 minutes. So I prefer a 10-minute talk than a 30-minute talk. Don't know about you, but I suggest starting by doing this. Take this video, um, add it to the source here. You can add a YouTube link, and give it time to produce the podcast for you. But the podcasts are really great. It's a conversation between two people with whatever material that you feed into it. And of course, you can engage with the AI in this box and ask it questions or help it formulate questions for you to ask yourself. But that's how you can use NotebookLM as an assistant for the literature review. Besides putting this, that YouTube video, I've done it for a couple of review articles. And what's nice is that it will give you basically another abstract, which you can think is useful or redundant because an abstract already is a short summary. What I find valuable of NotebookLM is still the podcast, because I can multitask and keep myself busy while I'm listening to what that article actually includes. And then once I finish listening to the recording, I usually decide things like okay, do I really need to go and read that whole article now that I know what's in it and what it's probably not going to include? Sometimes what it's not going to include is actually what I wanted to hear, so then I move on to another article to read. So far I've talked about using the Stony Brook Libraries to get your citation reference information, pulling that into EndNote. You can pull it into Zotero in very the same way and use either EndNote or Zotero's write-in functions to do your writing and keep your citations going at the same time. And we've talked about Obsidian as a digital notebook, as well as NotebookLM as your reading assistant tool. And that's what I wanted to cover today. I'd like to go back to this slide, which I'm not sharing. One second. To remind you that you can contact all of these people by email because they're kindly offered their emails for you to contact them and learn more skills, which I really encourage. If anything, that's something I would like you to take away. And I'm looking at the chat. Megan says, I've also started using Natural Reader to listen to papers as text to speech on my commute. Find it great for long review style papers that have little or no figures. Yeah. It's been very interesting for me to think of different ways to engage with the literature and reading and writing process. And I hope I've been able to share a little bit of my workflow with you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Is there any questions for Lisa? No. So before we head out, I just want to let everyone know, as a reminder, I'm going to be sending around the slides from Lisa's presentation and the recording of this to everybody after this. And then I'd also like to do a quick plug that every Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 here at the CIE, we have what's called Friday Focus Hours. It's a really great time for you to just come in here with your writing project and get some really good focused heads down writing time, and also have some coffee and snacks and hang out with friends. So I just put up the flyer for the Friday Focus Hours. And if you're interested, you can always grab that QR code right there. All right. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Thanks, y'all.
So yeah, that's what I would do.
Hi, Lisa.
Your GPD.
Bye.
Because if they're an advisor, then like they should be on. Yo, Max, before you leave, do you want to come into the do you want to be my accountability buddy and come in with